So I worked on season 1 as an assistant costume designer. So I was lucky to be in the world of Bridgerton season 1. So I was fortunate enough to work with Ellen, and I wanted to kind of keep the world that we'd created, but push it forward because we're getting to know each character. So kind of developing each character. So they're more individual this season. So you get a bit more of an understanding of the characters that we met in season 1. So I was very fortunate to have a new family. So that was a great experience for me to be able to kind of create this new look as well. With the heritage of India, kind of introducing various fabrics and embroideries. So then we could still have a feel of where they'd come from, but also they were in Regency, England as well, in our Bridgerton world.
To look at it like this, all the people in Bridgerton are part of the ton, which if we translate it in this time is like all the celebrities that we have, and they would have gone to like their version of London Fashion Week or Milan's Fashion Week or Paris Fashion Week and gone and got the new looks for this season, because last season was last season. They wouldn't be caught dead looking the same again. So that was the thing. We just needed to find a way to make the characters within the look DNA that we know and love from season 1, so we recognize everybody, and then just make that to the next season. So that was the background, really, like what would they have done, with what they had and the money they had, to just like look even more fabulously for the next season, so they could marry whoever they needed to marry or not marry.
I think, it's always a great starting point to have the historical knowledge to then be able to push it forward. And because Bridgerton isn't period correct, you've kind of got this massive scope to be able to work with. So I take elements from the fashion and catwalks to be able to push forward and kind of make it more of a contemporary look. So you'll notice there's a lot of different sleeve shapes that are not period correct. Also, looking at the men's cuts, they are period correct to a certain degree, but sometimes I just slim them down and make them more contemporary. So looking at fashion designers as an influence.
I mean, first of all, I've had to study season 1 really well to just make sure that we keep within the look DNA. Like I said, I wanted you to be able to see Lady Featherington in a silhouette and still know it's her, but I wanted her to have new elements. Wanted her to maybe, every time that we see her, she needs to have like a new hairstyle, and just trying to not to repeat anything that was done last season, but still make it really feel like the character that we know and love. And I think that a lot of times what we're doing is that I think that I must have had researched and done and loaded down and bought books of every single thing that exists of Regency. But then to make it a little bit quirky, we mix a Regency picture with maybe get an inspiration from something like Vogue or Tatler and kind of try to marry them a little bit, because I think that like the biggest scope with Bridgerton is that we secretly want to look like all of them ourselves if we could.
I kind of started with the Sharmas, and I was looking at jewel tones from Indian heritage, and I kept them quite, with Kate in particular, Kate Sharma, I used a lot of jewel tones for her character. But then also looking in depth at the characters and how they are, I wanted to kind of show the difference between the 2 Sharma sisters. So using stronger color palettes on Kate, as she's a stronger character in her nature, and then going with softer pinks and lilacs with Edwina, because she's a softer, more gentle character. So I wanted to keep her in the pastels, and also kind of then that works into looking at the Bridgertons, who are in that pastel colorway as well. So there's definitely a distinction between the sisters in their color palettes, and then with Kate and her stronger color palettes and putting in teals and greens, that matches alongside our Anthony's color palette for this season, because Anthony is a lot darker than we saw him in season 1. He's a lot more serious this season. So I kind of push these darker color palettes into him, just because I wanted it to resemble the way he was feeling about, you know, about his emotion.
I think that it's totally different where those two characters started off and ended off in their love story. I think Daphne, you know, like they were kind of a little bit of enemies, and then they fell in love and she was happy, and then she found out that he didn't want to have kids. So she was always in a kind of a sense of a turmoil, I think, but wanted to maybe use her look as a facade to protect herself a little bit, is how I would interpret it. Whereas Edwina, she's just feeling like a very secure person to begin with. She knows what she needs to do. She's quite happy to please everybody. She knows her path. She's walking towards that path, and she knows what people expect of her, and she will live up to that until certain things happens.
I think the different use of fabrics, I've used a lot of velvet for Lady Danbury this season. It's kind of quite a regal look. Also, her color palette's changed because I need to make sure that everything works as a set piece with everyone. You know, I've moved her into more of the reds, Lady Danbury into the reds this season, because we have so much kind of the mauves, hues into Mary's color palette as well. So I wanted them to work as a, you know, as a family, as per se, when we're seeing them as, you know, on screen together. So everyone has, you know, different types of embroidery, different types of decoration, but they, you know, using the empire cuts.
I think it's very, very important, because I think that as a makeup designer or a makeup artist and a hair artist, you need to be able to work with all textured hair and all different color skin. And it is like a painting, you know, like everybody's got different undertones in the skin, and you just need to, you know, take what is in front of you and elevate it and make it as flawless as you possibly can, and just honor everybody's skin tones and honor everybody's hair texture. And I think that that's what we've done. I just think everybody looks absolutely stunning. And I think it's partly that philosophy, but also the fact that my team is absolutely incredible, and their attention to detail. You know, they will see that hair 362 is a couple of angles out of, you know, sync, and they'll run in and fix it. So yeah, I think it's the team. It's definitely a team effort, and I could not have done this without my incredible makeup and hair team.